I'm joined now by Alabama women's basketball assistant coach Janese Constantine. Coach comes to Tuscaloosa from Indiana with her husband Paul and her son PJ. Both worked for Indiana. Her son PJ is 8 months old. Her husband Paul will work with Coach Ballou and Dr. Ray in the strength and conditioning department for the Alabama football team. Coach Constantine, you were a very successful women's basketball assistant coach at Indiana, and now you come down to Tuscaloosa. Really excited for you to join the Alabama family. How's everything been for you? Have y'all gotten down safe, and has the transition been going well?
It has. It really has. We live in a really nice neighborhood, so everybody's been great, just welcoming us. My husband's up and running with his workouts and training, so he's super busy, and so my days are pretty much filled with just hanging out, taking care of PJ, and then also getting myself adjusted, acclimated to be going back to work here real soon.
Right. So you mentioned your husband, Paul. And so for those watching this that may not know, Paul is on the strength staff with Coach Ballou and Dr. Ray at Alabama, obviously coming from Indiana, which is where y'all came from. But your circumstances arriving in the position in which you're in was a little atypical. So can you kind of walk us through your journey and how you were an assistant coach at Indiana and then how you ended up at Alabama with Paul also coming to Alabama?
Right. So Paul and I actually got to Indiana about the same time. I probably got there a few weeks before him. So we met there, got married there, had PJ and things. So we stayed there for 4 years, and it was phenomenal. We had a wonderful time. We had a great family system there, a great village, and truly loved it. And then when Coach Ballou, got the call to come here to Alabama, it was a no-brainer that Paul wanted to accept and come along with him. And so him and I talked, and I was going to stop coaching in Indiana and follow him down here and support. And I was going to be a full-time, basically wife and mom to him and PJ. And if a door opened up for me to get back into coaching, great. If not, I was just going to take some time off, and I was totally okay, committed to that, because in our profession, we already don't get a ton of time. Like we did kind of during the COVID-19 and things of that nature. And so, so we were down here. We moved down here in about the middle of May. And we're down here for about 3 weeks. And then the assistant position opened up here at Alabama. And Coach Curry and I had a phone call. And I think because of our history, I've known Coach Curry since high school. I've known her husband obviously since high school, and I've known Tiffany for about 8 years now as well. And so it didn't take long for us to sit and talk, and it was not like we had to get familiar with each other. I think her biggest thing was I okay, getting back into coaching and knowing that knowing that I had PJ and things of that nature. And I told her, of course, absolutely, I love coaching, I love mentoring, I love young people, and I love basketball. And so again, with her offering me the job, it was another no-brainer that I wanted to take it.
Absolutely. You didn't take long off from basketball at all, relatively, even though we've been kind of in a standstill with everything. But because you met Paul at Indiana and you're able to now continue that at Alabama, what does that mean for you personally, coming down here to Tuscaloosa?
I love it. I love it. It's like our household becomes just ingrained with that school that we were at, so we're roll tide, we're all in. And then we both love each other's sports. So I love football. I'm a huge football fan. He loves basketball. He loves watching me coach. And so we just love supporting each other. We love now, especially we have PJ, taking him to games and having him interact with our teams and watching us do what we both love. And so it's really cool. There are so many people that have told us that this would be impossible and that we couldn't do it. And one day it may be, but for now we relish in it. We love it. And we thrive in knowing that we're both, representing the same school with the same, ambitions to win.
Absolutely. The winning is the culture at Alabama, and it starts,
Absolutely.
it starts from the top and goes to the bottom. It works for all programs, all teams, all sports. And so your family, the Constantine family, is joining a winning culture at Alabama and trying to bring that winning culture from Indiana. So as we move conversation here to talking about basketball on the hardwood, you're coming off a record-setting year at Indiana. So how do you take the success you had up there and help build and establish that culture at Alabama with Coach Curry?
I think that they have a great foundation here. They're right there. They're on the cusp. The few of the girls that I've met seem just hungry, seem eager, and seem ready, to get back to the tournament and to just play at a high level. And so I think just my constant energy, my constant motivation, the skill development. If the girls are willing to put the work in and they're willing to be dedicated, I have no doubt that the experience that this coaching staff brings as a whole can get us there. But I love to motivate. I love to encourage players, and I'm just hoping that from some of the things that I've learned, at really all my stops, from Milwaukee to IPY, to IU, now here at Alabama, I just hope that I can take little nuggets from each place, from each boss, and the things that I've learned. But especially my 4 years under Coach Moore and the success we had, Coach Curry's already asked me different ideas and things of that nature. And so just being able to share things that we've done and then just making it right here for Alabama.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be a great addition. So when you look at your numbers at Indiana last year was a really successful year for the program you were a part of. Record 24 wins, 13 Big Ten victories. You made a Big Ten tournament semifinal for the first time since 2006. So obviously the success and being a part of a winning culture and a winning program is there, and you look to bring that to Alabama. You mentioned Coach Curry multiple times. Talk a little bit more about your relationship with her, how you know her, how you know others on the staff, both Coach Curry's, and just what's it going to be like for you to team up with her?
Right. So when I was in high school, that's when Coach Curry got to Purdue. And obviously Purdue women's basketball at that point had been very successful. Carolyn Peck had just came off of a national championship. And then Coach Curry got there, and they still just had really, really good players. She coached the Katie Jurels, the Katie Douglases, the Sharika Wrights, even Sharika Webb. I mean, so many players. Aaron Lawless. I mean, I could go on. And those players, they were so good. Actually, I had to compete against Coach Curry when I was at Wisconsin my first 2 years. And needless to say, we fell short. They were really good. And then another former player, Lindsay Wisdom Hilton, really good friend of mine. We're the same age. When I was at IU, she was at Purdue, so we coached against each other. Now she's at Wisconsin, where I played. So we're still, we coached against each other. We're still really good friends. And we actually were talking the other day. And she just talked about I was talking about just how sweet and how she was such a genuine person Coach Curry is, and how she cares about people. And Lindsay said that's how she got me to Purdue, just by her being genuine. And then players like Lindsay Hicks and Kelly Kamara, all those players, they have nothing but great things to say about her. And I've seen that just in my short time here, how truly her heart is for these kids, and she just goes about things the right way. And so, and then even in our coaching just endeavors and seeing her on the road, she's always speaks to me. She always, she never just looks past me or anything like that. And so just been always somebody I respected and followed. And then her husband, just got to know him just through the recruiting trail and talking to him and having certain conversations and people really having a good relationship with him. And then, like I said, Tiffany, she was at Western Illinois. I was at Milwaukee, and we met at an event in Chicago out recruiting. And it's just been connected ever since. And she moved to UNI. I was at IPY, and then when I was at IU, she was at Northwestern. And so, again, our paths have just constantly crossed, and she's always been a sweetheart. And so it doesn't feel like I'm coming into a brand new staff. I don't feel like I have to build these relationships with people I genuinely just don't know. I've known these people for a while. And so for Coach Curry, the Curry's, it's been about 15 years, and, for Tiff, it's been about 8. And so I'm just excited to get the ground running. You don't feel like you have to kind of do the nuances of getting to know each other. And so that part, it brings about a lot of comfortability.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier of a transition. So when we talk about coaching philosophy, and you look at the success you had at Indiana, we mentioned the numbers earlier, but also I can add on to that, in 4 seasons, you had 6 Indiana guards named to an all Big Ten team. You're going to coach post players at Alabama. So how does your coaching style translate to different positions on the floor, and what's some of your coaching philosophy?
I think the first thing is just always getting the players just to believe in you. And that's by just knowing your stuff. Players can sniff through when you don't know what you're talking about. And so just being sharp, being ready, bringing a certain level of energy to the court. And so I think that's the first kind of credibility that you establish right away. And then just getting to work. There's no, and kind of this is my Coach Moore phrase, there's no secret sauce, there's no recipe. We just worked. That was the thing in Indiana that our guards did. I mean, they worked extremely hard. We didn't do a bunch of gimmicks. We didn't have anything magical that we did. There's, we didn't invent the game or reinvent the game. So just certain drills that we did over and over and over and over. Again, you always hear players say the great players don't do it until they get it right. They do it till they can't get it wrong, anymore. And so that's what our players did. They just had a relentless pursuit in their greatness. And we had a lot of kids. So those 6 guards who were all conference, they worked their tails off. And so that's what I'm looking forward to here at Alabama, even with our post players. Not just post players, all of them. I mean, I'm available to work with any of them. But I just hope that we can establish just that relentless pursuit of work and getting in the gym every day. And don't have to be in there long. Our guards didn't. It's not like they spent 5 and 6 hours in there. I mean, you can get a good hard 30-minute workout, and be done. And you do that every day. And then again, they came back in on their own for certain things. But that's what I plan on doing. That's what I plan on bringing, and that's going to be just something I harp on every day. It's just work. If you want to be the best, if you want to get to the tournament, we got to work. We got to outwork people. And so I'm excited for that.
That's what it'll take for sure. It sounds like you were, fundamentals. And I think the point you made of you can't change the game, you can't recreate the game, and you didn't invent the game. So, do what you know and go with that. I think that's really important. And that'll be really key. And we'll hopefully get to see that and a change in as you gear headed towards this upcoming season for the Alabama women's basketball program.
Absolutely.
Coach, I want to ask you about Alabama. The culture here is so special, especially in athletics. Athletics is something that is just so rooted in the university. And you look all across the spectrum. We talked about winning culture earlier, but when you're talking to recruits, because I know you're a great recruiter, what is your selling point? I know you've only been here a couple of weeks, but what's your selling point on Alabama and why the players you want or need to come to Alabama?
I think I'll be very honest with you. I'm a big, firm believer in people, and I'm a big, firm believer in being surrounded by good people. And in the short time, again, that I've been here, I've met some really, really great people, just super sweet. Everybody's competitive. Everybody is looks out for you. Do you need this? Do you need that? Are you good with here? You guys settle. Can I help you with this? Can I give you a recommendation for here? And so my selling point necessarily to the recruits is going to be make sure you're surrounded by good people every single day, because wherever you go, you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to be challenges in front of you. There are going to be things you don't like. There are going to be things you disagree with, but if you're surrounded by the right people, if you're surrounded by people who genuinely care for you as a person, you can bring a championship culture anywhere. And so, my sell for here is that the brand is already here. I tell people all the time, it's a different ballgame down here. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's Roll Tide to the core. These people believe, Crimson. These people just believe in that they want every sport to be successful, every sport to be at that championship level. And I think that starts with the administration. You see, when I'm speaking to Greg and speaking to Tiffany, that's what they're about, and they're about what can we do to help you guys get there. And so we have the support we need. And so for those kids, it's just you want to be connected to good people. People are going to help you on and off the basketball court. And that's what I truly believe. I do. I believe that when you're surrounded by good people, there's nothing that can stop you from doing what you want to do.
Absolutely. And I think you mentioned, harping on great people. Greg Byrne, I have not known someone to come to Alabama and a hire that Greg Byrne has made or been a part of, and people don't talk about the community and the staff at Alabama. And so when you talk about the people, that's something that all different coaches that have been hired by Greg Byrne have talked about in terms of it's such great community and such great people. And I think that's something he does so well. And that fact that you've only been here a short amount of time and you and your coach, you and your husband get to experience that as coaches, and your son will hopefully get to be here for years, and growing up around that culture
Yes,
will hopefully be a really good thing. Coach, I want to ask you
absolutely.
one more thing. I like to have a little fun with these interviews, and
No, no doubt, no doubt.
as we mentioned, haven't been here too long, but Tuscaloosa is known for, obviously, its great athletics and winning culture, as we talked about, but it's food. The college campus in the city, I love going and exploring different places to eat in the 3 years that I've been there. But tell me, what's been your favorite place to eat? Have y'all had the chance to go explore some of Tuscaloosa's finest restaurants?
Yeah, so not a ton, but I will say that we got some pizza this weekend from De Palma. I think that's how you say it, and we really, really enjoyed that. So that was really, really good. Um, where else? We had some Taco Mama the other night.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to. I believe there's a place called Five. My husband enjoyed. I think Heat is that a pizza place.
Yes, Heat is really good
I've been
pizza.
to Urban Cookhouse, I think that's what it's
Mhm,
called. So
mhm.
that was pretty good. Really good orange roll that I had there.
Yeah.
And that may be it. Oh no, I went to a coffee shop called Heritage.
Heritage
Um,
House?
Heritage House, is that what it's called? Yeah,
Yes, yes.
really, really good. I really like that place. I'm definitely going to be a fan. I definitely will be going back.
Yeah, it's great because you get all different types of food, and obviously the junk food that college students love to eat, restaurants specialize in that. And so you look, and there's great pizza and great burgers and great barbecue all over town. There's
Yeah,
plenty of coffee shops where students go, and some study, some don't.
for sure.
But the culture, the Southern culture, is definitely, the food stands out to me when I think about Tuscaloosa.
Yep,
I
absolutely. I went to T-Town Cafe also. That was pretty good too. That's on campus. That
Really,
was,
really good
yeah,
food.
really
Yeah, I
good.
love going there after church on Sundays.
Yeah,
They've got a
there you
really
go.
good Sunday menu. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on this video call. Appreciate, and hope everybody will enjoy watching and learning more about you and learning more about what you bring to the program. Really looking forward to watching the women's program progress over the years, and look forward to being back in Tuscaloosa, and hopefully getting this season and school year started really shortly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to just get back going and see the madness and see the excitement and the energy from the fans and the community and the students. So roll tide, and I hope you have a great day.